Yo,
Three,
what
two,
up,
one,
guys? It is
beast.
Kyle Beast here, talking about our Week 5 recap. Got a preview on the show for you. We got a good old Phosphorus, Beast Farm, on the pod to just kind of come in and, as a guest, talk his little sense. He's got high football IQ. He played played collegiate ball. He's been around the game just for probably his whole life, right?
We were talking about before this.
What?
That's what we were talking about
Yes.
before this. I played college football, and then after, now I consider myself just an athlete.
Yes, just an ass. That is how I also consider myself. But yeah, we got the Week 5 recap for you guys, a little preview. This is what we're going to get into. So we're going to recap Jags, Bills, Texans, Falcons, Ravens, Steelers, Eagles, Rams, Bengals, Cardinals, Chiefs, Vikings, Boys, Niners, Pack, Raiders, and then we're going to get a little Thursday night preview action, kind of tell you our picks and why we like what they got going on. Um, Let me pull up ESPN real quick, and we will get going. All right, I got it up. So first off, let's just talk. First of all, Brandon, anything you want to say or introduce yourself as before we get going?
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan, so great week to have me on the pod.
Yes, and we are going. Yes, great week. We are going to really get into that boys Niners matchup, which is going to be fun. I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. But let's start it off with Jags Bills. Jags at Bills in London. Jags take the dub 25-20. How important do you think that was for the Jaguars?
Well, I think it was really important. I think it was more important for the Jags because it I think it's going to give them confidence throughout the season. They can hang with a high-profile team, a good team, and they have a chance to win every single week.
Oh yeah, dude. One thing I really wanted to know about that as well is I don't know if you watched all the game, but the Jags gave the Bills every chance there was, like literally, to win that game. They had like two red zone turnovers, and the Bills literally just couldn't. A really good offense and an elite quarterback could not go down on that defense and score and win the games. I think that was a big deal for the Jags. I don't want to put too much into it, like for the Bills, just because I heard like when they got up on the plane, like they were having like a really tired. It was just kind of a bad travel week for them. But right now we're looking at the only two elite defenses they've played. They've lost. How big of a deal do you think that is?
I don't think it's a big deal. I think we're going to see the Bills get it going throughout the season.
Yeah,
I think a big thing, like you said, is the
just one of those
was
weeks.
the jet lag.
Yeah, one of those weeks. I mean, every team's going to have one of those weeks where they come in and they're just not really good. I mean, the 49ers, just for an example, they look dominant. They're going to lose one of these weeks. They're just going to. And they're not going to look great, and everyone's going to freak out, and it's not going to mean anything. So that's probably what we have here. But James Cook, 5 carries? 5 carries what? For -4 yards? What is that garbage? Why do the Bills love to abandon the run game? Like, I feel like it's a problem every year, and I feel like it's why they end up losing every year, right? In the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially when we talked about the jet lag. I think a little bit of that would have been mitigated if they could get a solid run game going.
Yeah, and the Jags have a really good rush defense, so like I get it, and it's not a bad idea to obviously put the game in your elite quarterback's hands, but I feel like we've seen throughout the years that this Bills team and Josh Allen just do not get it done when the run game is does not a constant for them. You know what I mean, in their offense.
Yeah, it's honestly interesting that they do that. You would think a well-coached team like the Bills would stay disciplined to the run, but maybe there's something going on in Buffalo that we don't know. But it
Yeah,
is a fascinating storyline.
yeah, and it could just be one of those weeks. They've done a really good job this year of keeping to it. It just I didn't love seeing that. Like okay, it's panic time and we're done, right? I didn't love seeing that. Hopefully they make adjustments. Big two losses for the Bills that's kind of I think scary for all Bills fans is Matt Milano and Daquan Jones. They just got put onto IR. That's a big deal. Matt Milano is the captain of their defense. Two starters really crucial in their rush defense and just their defense overall. They were struggling looking at backers this offseason. And now that they're out, with the guy that they had solidified there, big deal. He's a really good off-ball player too. I think he's
Yeah,
probably top 5 maybe around that area. I think so.
I would say he's absolutely a top five
Huge,
off the ball
yeah.
linebacker in the NFL right now.
And then I was wrong about this one. I took the Bills in a win, 31-20. I was wrong about probably every game this week. And it just happens. It happens, right? I've been getting a lot of flack from people, and it's like, dude, if everyone could predict every NFL game, everybody would be a millionaire. You just can't do it. Like it's the NFL, right? But
Yeah,
the line recaps, Jags end up covering. I think it was like a -3.5 for the Bills. I thought they were gonna cover, and then it was under 48.5. I had it going over 48.5. So just completely missed on all those. I expected the Bills offense to look how it's looked the past couple weeks, which has been dominant. But that being said, let's get into this Texans Falcons game. Atlanta gets the dub, baby. 21-19. Let's go Falcons. We love to see it. I warned everybody that this was a matchup that was really, really good for the Falcons. And if you did want to take them in a win, I thought that was going to be smart. I couldn't, though, because of how they looked the past couple weeks. I just couldn't do it. It just wouldn't make sense for me to think that they could have beaten a pretty hot Texans team. So I also missed on this one. I took the Texans 24-20, but I did love the matchup for the Falcons. So I hadn't been able to watch the Texans this week. And honestly, I wasn't like extremely impressed with CJ Stroud. I thought he looked really good. But like I felt like his ceiling isn't as high, and that was the knock of him coming in the draft. But I felt like he, other than maybe a couple accuracy issues and awareness issues, I felt like he looked as good as he's going to be, honestly. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I would disagree with that. I think CJ Stroud right now is operating with a lack of weapons, a lack of legit weapons, in my opinion. Nico Collins and Tank Dell, they get it done, but I don't think they're game beaters or anything like that. Run game really not a significant factor.
Yeah, their run game's pretty bad.
And so I think if you can get CJ Stroud and you can get him to have the chemistry like he had at Ohio State. I mean, he's not going to have those receivers he had at Ohio State.
No
But
chance.
if he can have someone similar, I think we're going to see a very good CJ Stroud. I'm impressed with how composed that he looks. He looks like a vet.
That's well, yeah. That's what I
Operating
was
the
saying. I was
offense.
impressed with how composed he is, and I just felt like when you're that composed and you're still not really performing at a super high level, I felt like that was kind of the ceiling. But
Okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah, and you're right. I guess there's kind of a lack of weapons. The run game's pretty poor. I would say that the offensive line is really bad because it is, and they have so many injuries. But we couldn't get home. If you watch the game, the Falcons' pass rush was garbage, and C.J. Stroud had time, and he missed a lot with time. So that's why I wasn't super impressed. The defense looks really average, but man, did you watch the game, Brandon?
I did.
So I saw Will Anderson all over the field. Like, I don't know if you did. I was super impressed with him, and honestly, quite disappointed we maybe didn't trade up for him, because he looked that good. Like, he looked that good.
He's gotten better every single week. Yeah, I envision a huge jump from him this upcoming year. This year, I think we're going to see some rookie woes.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, he looks great. I mean, he's gotten better every year, and yeah,
Every week.
excited to. Yeah, my one knock on him coming out was seemed to win the pass rush with pure athleticism
Sure.
in college. His hand technique, his hand placement, not as refined as the Bosa's. It's hard to find anyone that is refined as the Bosa's coming out of college. All the same, though, I think Will Anderson can get that hand fighting down. I mean, sky's the limit for him.
Sure, yeah. No, I think a misconception in the draft was he's really athletic in the pass rush, and he's not that good of a. He's not like he's a pass rusher, right? He's not a run stopper, but Brandon's right. In the pass rush game, he was Did we lose you?
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Just wondering if we lost you. In the pass rush game, yeah, you're right. He worked, or he just relied on athleticism, but I think he was a really good run stopper in college, and I think people didn't talk about it enough.
That's a good point. I mean, he
Yeah, and
definitely
I
got
heard a couple
drafted.
people talk about it, but not enough of people, not the mainstream media guys, right?
Yeah. Well, he definitely got drafted for his pass rush ability, but
Yeah,
I think that's why he got drafted so high is because, like you're saying, he's a complete defensive end,
yeah,
or at least has the makings of an elite, complete defensive end.
yeah. I certainly see all pro in his future, but let's get into the Falcons in this game. What a sigh of relief for any Falcons fans out there. Desmond Ritter, I know it's a big sigh of relief for me. Even just thinking about it makes me get a little less tense. But Desmond Ritter throws for 329, has a game-winning drive with Young Hoku finishing it off. And I think like there's a misconception in game-winning drives, like if you have to go get a field goal, it's not as impressive. But if you watched that drive, I think everyone would say that was an extremely impressive game-winning drive, and we got down there really early and had about 30, 40 seconds where we just had to eat clock and just hit it off with a field goal at the end. So I thought it was really impressive. And I think the offense had just a lot of unlucky turnovers. I don't think it's going to happen every week. Johnny Smith fumbled, and then Bijan had that fumble. Other than those turnovers, we probably win this game by 2 possessions, so I think that's really good to see. And the defense looked really good again. Okuda looked much better. Our secondary is looking legit. D. Alford in the slot was flying around for anyone who watched that game. And the only disappointing part that was really disappointing to see was the pass rush was pretty horrible against a very bad Texans pass protection. At least it has been really bad. So that sucked. But I noticed a lot of guys were like missing early and then like going for tipped balls. So I don't know. Maybe that was a scheme thing. But it certainly shouldn't have been that bad, especially with a lot of like 3rd and 15s happening. But that's what I had for him. What, you got anything to say on that?
Yeah. It was an impressive game-winning drive by Desmond Ritter. You saw that coming out of Cincinnati. That's what got him drafted out of the 3rd round. You saw that. What's the word I'm looking for? The processing ability of Desmond Ritter and finding him one-on-one, finding his matchup with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Yeah, it was impressive. He certainly he's undefeated at home, right?
Yeah, he's undefeated at home, and I put that in there as it's interesting how bad he looks on the road. We're like
Yeah, I
married to
think
home. Like he looks like someone you can like let throw down the field at home, and then we go on the road. It's like, dude, do not let him pass. It's crazy.
yeah, it'll be that's an interesting storyline that we'll see throughout the season. But
Yeah,
yeah, some drives he looks like I mean, solid pick that you scouted out of the 3rd round out of Cincinnati, and then other times, I mean, he looks like a rookie that maybe doesn't have any business on the field.
yeah, no, I'm right there with you, dude. And then yeah, Falcons cover, which is awesome. Over on wait, did we cover? Fuck.
No, you tell me.
I'm gonna go look. What was the line there? Give me a second. Sorry guys, should have had this ready.
You probably didn't cover if you only
No,
won by
we
two.
were 1.5 point favorites. We covered.
Gosh.
That's what I thought we were, but I was like, shoot, maybe we were 2.5. But yeah, so we cover. Nice. Under 41.5. I thought this was a great week to go over. One thing I want to point out, if you're into
Yeah.
sports betting, I wouldn't ever freaking touch that over underline. A field goal, a garbage time field goal, a garbage time anything is going to screw you every time. I think it's by far the hardest thing to figure out in sports is the score. I will not ever touch a line with my own money unless obviously I just need to waste some money. Do you agree with that?
Um, I don't know. I'm not huge into sports betting, and I have to consult with Riley Hoff on that one.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's get into that
John
Ravens and
Odell.
Steelers game. We're gonna have to talk about this one for probably a little bit. Steelers end up getting the dub 17-10. Did you watch this game at all, Brandon?
No, I flipped back and forth a little bit. I got Mark
Sure.
Andrews on my fantasy team, so I was obviously intrigued, but
Yeah. Okay, so this was for those who didn't watch the game, and Brandon, this was a huge, huge loss for the Ravens. For those who saw the game, obviously the Ravens looked far and away the better team up until the fourth quarter. They looked so much better than this team. It was 10 to like 7 for a while, and the game should have been like 23 or 24-7. 7 drops from the receivers, 5 of them being either touchdown drops or 20-plus yardage drops. That's just an insane difference in the game. Most drops since 2017. It was ridiculous. Good news for you Ravens fans. The only silver lining that probably came out of this one is it wasn't on Lamar. You know, we see Lamar have really horrible turnovers and all the time. He still had that pass where he threw it directly to Joey Porter. But I think I don't think that's what was supposed to happen, because if you were really supposed to throw a goal line fade to 5'10", Odell Beckham Jr., who's coming off of so many injuries, like I think that was probably Odell's fault. That was probably supposed to be like a fade slant, I'm assuming. Am I right or wrong? I don't know. I think it's supposed to be a fade slant, and Odell just went for the fade, and Lamar just short-armed that shit, and it went right to Joey Porter. Either way, I hated... If that was the play call, fade to OBJ, that's really bad. But yeah, Lamar played really good, and they're getting healthy, which is nice, and I still really like this Ravens team. Their defense is really good. Anything you got on the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, you see it year after year. They're competitive. It's honestly really cool. Yeah, man, it was not on Lamar. Coming out, I'll be honest, coming out of the draft, I had questions about his ability to consistently throw from the pocket. I think he does have some of those issues.
Yeah, I do too.
I think we've seen that. This game was not one of them.
No, he looked great, played great.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. If that at the end of the game, if that was the call, I don't like it either. Odell, not the athlete he once was. I mean, you can give him that ball 3, 4, 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And he makes something happen.
I don't.
Maybe, but
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. I don't know what the call was. Maybe Odell is pressuring some of the Ravens staff to get him the ball or something.
Throw me a fade. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why don't you split out Mark Andrews, 6'5" Mark Andrews, and then the safety goes over top. Just run like a read option or something like that. If the safety's there, and if he's not, then throw the one-on-one fade, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know
if
if Gus Edwards played, but yeah, I mean, you could run some RPO with Gus Edwards and Mark Andrews singled up or whatever you want.
Exactly.
I mean, there are probably 100 other plays that would have been better than what they called.
Yeah. Last thing on the Ravens, Nelson Aguilar does what Nelson Aguilar does best, and that's drop balls. Steelers, huge win for the Steelers, even though they looked really bad. Hey, a win in the NFL is a win at the end of the day. Gets you to the next week, not stressing, right? Even the defense, other than the fourth quarter, looked pretty weak. The front seven is going to be a problem for any team that they have to play, or that if they have to play the Steelers all year. Highsmith and Watt are both elite pass rushers. I think I forget his name, but Highsmith. I think it's Highsmith. Let me go look actually really quick, just so I'm not doing him dirty.
Smith.
He gets a lot.
It is Highsmith.
What's up?
It is Highsmith.
Okay. Do you know his last name?
That's his last name.
Oh, his first name?
Oh, I don't know his first name.
Okay, his first name is Alex. Alex Highsmith. He gets a lot, or he gets kind of the short end of the stick for, I think, like, media-wise. I just wanted to really just say how amazing he is, and he's also an elite pass rusher. I think it's really cool. Offense, again, looked really bad, other than a couple of plays. That ball, obviously, to George Pickens, one-on-one with Marlon Humphrey, was pretty cool. That was a really good audible from Kenny Pickett. You know, he's like, oh, there's 0. I'm launching this ball to the best athlete on the field.
Right.
Still don't really like this team as a playoff team. One of my friends said they were a contender with a decent offense, and I couldn't disagree more. I don't think the defense is elite. I think some games they play elite. I don't think they're consistently elite. And I think even... I'm trying to think. I don't know. What's a decent offense? I feel like they're a below average offense. I think if you were to give them a barely decent offense, I don't think it'd make that big of a difference. But what do you think on that?
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of the Steelers this year. I think they're sort of in a rebuilding mode. They have players that are single-handedly winning them games, and Highsmith, Watt, and Minka Fitzpatrick, and then George Pickens. But yeah, not a fan. I think the Steelers are in maybe even the bottom quarter of teams in the league.
I agree.
Um,
They have great coaching though, so
it,
it makes
it,
them look a little better. But
yeah, it was interesting. So Joey Molinaro, huge fan of him. Follow him on Twitter. He
Joey,
is not a fan of their he is not a fan of their OC Matt Canada. And when Kenny Pickett threw that ball and they scored at the end of the game, they cut to Matt Canada's face. Matt Canada didn't look happy that they scored.
no,
And so
he didn't.
I think there is some friction going on between Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett. And
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I think Matt Canada should be gone. I mean, when force feed George Pickens, if that's all you have.
no,
Like
I
it's
agree. And a lot of Steelers fans said Kenny Pickett dumped his play call and took his own and made it like his own. And I think that's where Matt Canada was like kind of
Yeah.
pissed and upset about it. Yeah, so he should probably be gone at this point. I definitely think at this point he should be gone. This season, I feel like it's chalked for him either way. Truthfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's get into the Eagles at Rams. I picked the Eagles to win this game, 30-27. Eagles end up winning 23-14. I thought the offense was going to be a little better, and I thought the Rams' offense was going to be a little better. I probably should have seen this coming a little more, with just the Rams kind of being worn out with how much just elite talent this Eagles team has, and in the fourth quarter it kind of get a little less competitive. It was a competitive game, though, up until probably about 7 minutes left in the fourth. Rams held their own, but I don't think they really have the firepower to compete with the elite teams in the NFL, especially on defense. And, I mean, the Eagles, dude, the offense continues to look shaky and, like, pretty inconsistent, but, like, their running ability and their ability to stop the run at a high level, I think makes them an extremely tough team to beat. You know, they remain 5-0, but they still haven't like played a real contender yet, and I think everyone's waiting for that week 12 mark to kind of see what this team is actually made of. Like 5-0, everyone's comparing them to the 49ers. I think they're far and away from the 49ers. Quite honestly, I think they're still a little worse than the Cowboys. This was a great week for them, but I want to just show you what they have schedule-wise really quick before I let you take the reins on them. So look at this part of their schedule. So they go, let me see what week this is. What, week 6, week 7, week 8, week 9. So I think starting with week 9 or 8 or whatever, it goes Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys. That's a crazy tough schedule. So I think in those weeks we're gonna really see what this team is made of. They did look a lot better this week, and I thought that was good though for them. What did you have on this game or on the Eagles?
This was a convincer for me in terms of the Eagles. I was really impressed with the Eagles. This was in SoFi in LA. I mean, they don't have a huge home fan base in LA. All the same, it was on the road, coming all the way over from the East Coast. And the Eagles just won. They were simply the better team. And it was a competitive game. I think you're right. I don't think the Rams have, I guess, the firepower to match up with the Eagles throughout a full 4 quarters. The offense, it looks shaky. It looks consistent. I personally think that's on Jalen Hurts. I don't think he can throw from the pocket, and I don't think he can really process from the pocket. But yeah, their ability to run is saving them. It's allowing them to wear teams out. And then their defense, it's honestly just their defensive front. Like,
front seven.
my God.
It's incredible,
what? Yeah, absolutely. They are controlling games. The Eagles are, and that's where the Eagles are winning games in the trenches, offensive line and defensive line, and that's why they have a chance every single week.
That's what I noted at the start of this. I said obviously, the running ability and ability to stop the run makes them they make them so hard to beat. It's so hard to beat a team that can do that at an extremely high level. It wasn't a convincer for me just because of do we really think the Rams are okay? So my grade on the Rams is, yeah, they're going to be competitive every week, and they're going to win some games. They're going to beat some good teams, right? But I don't think they can compete with the elite teams in the NFL. I mean, they lost to the Bengals also. Or did they beat the Bengals? Shoot, what was that? No, they lost. They lost to the Bengals as well. We all know what the Bengals are. They're average. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they're going to put up good numbers. Stafford, Kupp, and Naku are going to be good, but their defense lacks a lot of talent. They're going to be competitive. I just don't think that they are. Do I really think the Rams are going to win, are going to make it to the NFC Championship? Absolutely not. I think they have a chance to win a playoff game, but
I think the Rams are a fringe playoff team, wild card team.
I think they're a playoff team as well. Just not
Yeah.
a real playoff team, truthfully.
Yeah.
The NFC is kind of weak this year, but anyway, line recaps. Eagles cover. I did have the Rams covering. I thought maybe they would make it a little closer. It ended up being under 50.5. I think I went over on that too. So it is a tough week for me. But let's get into Bengals at Cardinals. Bengals, they win 34-20. I think this is a way bigger win than any Bengals fans or any NFL fan could have imagined going into this week. Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow, much healthier than he's looked all season. Him and Ja'Marr Chase shred them. I think Ja'Marr Chase had 19 targets and 15 receptions. I think that's what he ended with. I'll go pull up his stats when I'm done with this. I'll just let you know. But I don't want to react like super crazy to this. They finally look like the Bengals, but yes, it was against like much inferior competition. But the Cardinals have challenged every team they've faced so far, including two of the best teams in the NFL, and the Niners and Cowboys, beating the Cowboys. But I think every question we have for the Bengals is going to be answered next week when they play the Seahawks team. I think they're just talent-wise, especially on their defensive end, they are a much harder challenge for Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense. But man, that's going to be another huge week for the Bengals in itself, because then they get that bye week. If they can go to the bye week 3-3, you're looking at a completely different season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like what you said about the Cardinals challenging every team that they faced. I don't think the Cardinals are that bad. I think they lack quite a bit of talent.
Yeah.
I think they play very hard. And when the stars align, they can play good football. And so, yeah, it was Bengals finally. I mean, Joe Burrow finally looked good again. It's interesting that T. Higgins was out this game. Who knows if Joe just said, all right, well, going to Ja'Marr every single play, and we'll see that storyline play out to see how if they can get the whole entire offense moving. Because if you can get that attention toward Ja'Marr.
Let me stop you right there, because I think they did. Because, I mean, when you look at this box score, I didn't realize this at all, either, and I watched the whole game, but, I mean, Joe Mixon ends with 25 carries. That's great. And 81 yards. Ja'Marr Chase ends with 15 receptions and 192 yards. And Trenton Irwin, I think that's their backup tight end, 8 receptions. Tyler Boyd 6 receptions. I think their offense just was playing at an elite level.
Yeah, it's it'll be I mean, if they can get it going against better teams, I mean, T. Higgins he's a legit talent. And he's a difference maker, and so I mean, they have if they played like they did against the Cardinals, they have a chance against honestly any team in the league.
Yeah,
when you have
we'll get into these
Joe Burrow.
Oh, sorry, what's up?
Oh, Joe Burrow's a fantastic quarterback. He looked, I don't know who that was the first couple weeks of the season, but I mean, he's an incredible quarterback.
That's why I'm excited to see him in this upcoming week. I mean, the Cardinals defense isn't good. You know, I mean, they've been competitive, but they're not good. So I'm excited to see this week. Line recap: Bengals cover, and it went over 44.5. I hit that one. I had them losing this game.
Right.
I do want to make that clear. I do need to apologize to all the Bengals fans. I did say your season was ending this week. It did not. It's a lie. But I thought it was over. There's just nothing, and I think Bengals fans can agree with me. There's nothing that I could have sat there and been like, other than, oh, it's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. There was nothing gameplay wise that made me really think they have a chance for the season. Bengals cover over 44.5. Let's get into this Chiefs at Vikings game. I took the Vikings in an upset. I'm never taking Kirk Cousins again. I just can't do it. He sucks. Chiefs win 27-20. Another game that Kirk Cousins had multiple chances to win. I know Justin Jefferson was out, but this has always been the problem with Kirk, right? He's just not good enough. And I think that's fair to say at this point. You know, there's a lot of Kirk supporters out there, but I think it's very fair to say he's simply not good enough. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I am personally a Kirk fan.
I
I
am
think
too,
Kirk.
but I'm done.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a Kirk fan. I mean, he didn't have JJ. Was this in Arrowhead or was this in Minnesota?
Is that? Oh, I actually don't know. Oh, it was at Minnesota.
It was okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, they did have that flag get picked up at the end of the game. It could have changed it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. I feel like it's a sad day when your defense, who I think the only name that I can think of right now who's on that defense is Daniil Hunter, is outperforming your offense, and it has Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson and a decent offensive line. Disappointing. I think it's really disappointing, and I think it falls on the quarterback as usually does 9 out of 10 times. Chiefs wise though, I love what this offense is doing in the run game. They continue to stick with it. That's something we haven't seen really ever from the Chiefs. It's really cool. It's winning them games. Kelsey not being healthy is really concerning for this team. Without him, their receivers look really bad. Patrick Mahomes looks not that great without Kelsey being super healthy. And, I mean, to be honest, Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked good this year. That's just truth, I feel like, right? Am I wrong about that?
I haven't watched a lot of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the Chiefs are what, 4-1.
Yeah.
Um,
4
so
and 1. Yeah.
I think when you have Patrick Mahomes, I think we're seeing a different Patrick Mahomes this year, where he's more maturing. I don't think he's looking for those deep shots all the time. I think he's turning more into not turning more, but playing more of a game manager role. And I could be completely wrong. I haven't watched a lot of Chiefs games. Um,
See, so
I think they are linked.
sorry, did you mind?
No, go ahead.
So I've watched, I think, probably 3 or 4 Chiefs games this year, and last year I saw that. I saw that out of Patrick Mahomes, right? I saw turning in more into a game manager. I saw not taking the deep shots, right? I saw him staying calm and composed in the pocket and not really improvising that much because it doesn't really get you a whole lot of wear unless it's a crazy play. And this year I've seen it, but I've seen him struggle at it. I mean, he's thrown like 2 or 3 really bad interceptions. Like if anyone saw that Jets game, just horrible. And I know the receivers are letting him down, but without his guy Kelsey, I feel like he's just even his reads have been off, or maybe it's the separation. I mean, it probably is less on Patrick Mahomes than the receiver separation, but I actually have seen him kind of want to go back to more of that improvising rather than turning into what he was last year, which was a really, really high level quarterback. Last year was my just coming out party. Patrick Mahomes was like, okay, this is the best quarterback in the league, and there's nothing else. There's not even a question, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and that definitely could be it. With the receivers and Kelsey not being healthy, I mean, it could just be, I mean, different for him. If that is the case, I think they look to Sky Moore to take that next step.
Yeah, Rashi Rice, the rookie, he's been the guy actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if they can get them going, I honestly, dude, I'd probably shut down Travis Kelsey. They're gonna be in the playoffs. I think either way.
I would do that too. I think they brought him back too early.
Yeah. Maybe there was some overreaction to the Lions loss. Who knows? I'd shut him down. You're gonna be in the playoffs.
4-1 in a shit division. You're gonna get there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on. Just Vikings really quick. This team lost, obviously, and they also lost JJ for, I've heard, 8 weeks potentially. I think this is it. I thought your season was over when you guys were, well, I think they were 1-3. I think it's absolutely over. I don't see any way you turn this season around. My brother mentioned to me, this is the same brother. Brandon mentioned to me yesterday on the phone that they should shut JJ down, trade Kirk, and tank for Caleb Williams. I couldn't agree more. Any viewers out there that disagree, please let us know, because I think I think you could be looking at Super Bowl future appearances if that's what you get away with. What do you think?
Yeah, and I should mention that I did see that on Twitter first. It was not an original idea.
Fair.
All the same, I think it is good to get that idea out there because I think it is a legitimate idea. And I think that the Vikings should be considering it. At this point, Kirk is a free agent after this season. Trade him to the Jets.
Really good
They
idea.
trade him to the Jets. Get an extra third or an extra, probably a third is all you're
Make
going to
them take
get.
that horrible contract too.
Well, they don't have to take the horrible
Oh,
contract.
is he off after this year?
Yeah, he's free agent after
Oh,
this
I didn't
year.
know that. So I must be thinking
Yeah, so
3 years ago.
well, see, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Shut JJ down.
Not for Kirk.
He can, huh?
Not for Kirk.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Not
Well,
for
maybe
Kirk.
it is for Kirk. Well, what if Kirk wins the Super Bowl with the Jets?
Yeah, then it would be, but
If he just goes and tears it up in New York,
yeah,
just turns
yeah, he
into.
could. I mean, he really could actually. His team's really good, but I don't know. But anyway, let's
Yeah.
line recaps. Chiefs cover. It went under 52.5. I had it going over, and I had the Vikings covering. So another swing and a miss from Kyle Beast. Cowboys at Niners. Niners 42-10. What happened? Let me get what I have to say, or you know what? No, let's hear what you have to say first, and then I'll get into what I have to say. So I think we have two different opinions on what's gonna go on with this team, and let's hear it from you first. Let's hear it from the Cowboys vet.
So I mean, I'll sum it up concisely. I think this team has a good chance, to win 12 games and not make a peep in the playoffs. I think that's a good way to sum it up. At least right now. I mean, my God, it was. There was so much hype going into this game. Cowboys wanted it. They were talking a lot about it, and they just got really outclassed from a coaching standpoint. They had an incredible plan for Micah. They showed him so many different looks. God, he was getting chipped. He was getting blocked, but he was getting trapped by Jusek. You check whatever his name is. They had a plan for him, and that's what's disappointing to the Cowboys fan. The Cowboys have impact players. They have the talent to win it all, but it's not being utilized. I don't think the coaches are giving their players really a chance to, I guess, succeed. Whereas on the opposite side, Shanahan, I mean, you got fucking people running wide open for most of the time. You have so much misdirection. You have so much processing that the defense needs to do. And it's just really, I felt like we got outclassed from a scheme and a coaching standpoint. Honestly, one bright spot was the Cowboys defense. That score, 42 points, I don't think that reflects on the Cowboys defense because the Cowboys, they were out there. I mean, they just got destroyed in terms of time of possession. And when your offense lets you down that many times, there's not much you can do. I did see, though, in the beginning of the game, I mean, I turned it off third quarter. I done with that shit. But you did see in the beginning of the game the Cowboys defense make plays and make stupid mistakes, too. Another thing with coaching, like, what the fuck, J-Ron? J-Ron Curse is literally in the neutral zone. I even said that before the
Yeah,
play. I was
I
like,
did too. I
J-Ron,
was
get
watching it
back.
live going.
What
I
are
was
you?
like, that guy's offsides. And then I was like,
Yeah,
God
like,
damn it.
well, someone needs to be. I mean, so J-Ron obviously should have that awareness first, but if he doesn't, someone on the sideline needs to be in charge of that.
Yeah.
Like, let's just fucking nip it in the butt, and just get it solved any way we can. And so it was a very disappointing game in terms of scheme, because in the NFL that's how you're going to win consistently, is with a scheme like Kyle Shanahan, and have a plan every single week like the Niners did for Mike and this defense. It's
Yeah, yeah. I do think. Are you done? Did you mind?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing though, just to sum it up, like I said, they have a very good shot to win 12 games, and um, the Niners own them.
Yeah. So I agree with that part. I do agree with that part. I there's so much I can say. I'm trying to figure out where to start.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, I
There's a
know.
lot.
I'm trying to see where I can start and it all add up. But I don't know. After this game, I FaceTimed Brandon and I said the Cowboys are frauds. They're frauds, right? I had way more time to think about it. Now on paper, they certainly look like frauds. You lost to the Cardinals, just got blown out by the 49ers. I think anyone who doesn't watch football would look at that and go, "Oh, the Cowboys are not as good as everyone says they are." Right? I actually disagree. I think this is still a very good football team. I think this is a football team that could absolutely win 12 games. I think they could absolutely take the NFC East. It's the NFC East, right? Yeah. I think they could absolutely take the NFC East. I think this is a matchup. I think the Niners own you guys, and I think this is a really bad matchup for you guys. Truthfully, especially not even only in the coaching aspect of it. Obviously, Shanahan outcoached the shit out of you guys. It's really easy, I think, for an offense to outcoach a defense, if that makes sense. So I think Dan Quinn's kind of in a really hard
Offensively.
position, especially with no defense even knowing how to defend a Shanahan scheme for the last 3 years, or even 4 years. Defenses have struggled with that ever since he's been an offensive coordinator. Even when he took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. So with that being said, I just think they match up really bad. I mean, let's look at the Cowboys on offense for the 49ers on defense. The 49ers aren't a bad run defense, but it's certainly not their strength, right? They have an extremely good pass rush. And then the run game for the Cowboys definitely is not their strength. In fact, I don't even know what their strength is for their offense right now because it looks so bad. But and Dak loves to dink and Dak. We know that. He he caught Tony Pollard not wanting to be out there, dude. Or I guess, actually, the 49ers defense made Tony Pollard not want to be out there. When I saw the first two couple hits that Tony Pollard took, right after that, Tony Pollard was done with that shit. He did not want to catch the
Uh,
ball. He didn't want to run the ball. And I feel like it's for decent reason, dude. When Dre Greenlaw is coming at you that fucking hard, I mean, I wanted to see Mike McCarthy dial up maybe some double moves. Like, it's hard for the protection because, the pass protection, but, dude, fucking, play action that shit with the dink. Get CD going over the middle. You know what I mean? Something like that, right? I don't know. I'm not an offensive coordinator, so. But,
yeah,
sorry, let me finish
it's
really quick.
yes, sir.
I'm almost done. And I like I said earlier, I still think they have a great chance of taking this division. It looks sour at 3-2, and Eagles are 5-0. But I also think that's their only hope of making it to a Super Bowl is the Eagles beat the Niners and you guys beat the
Yeah,
Eagles. I don't see ever beating the Niners. They just match up so well. Eagles match up way better against the 49ers than the Cowboys do. Like, way
absolutely.
better. With that run game and just being able to stop the run, particularly. Like I said, I still think this is a
Yep.
very good offense. They need to figure out the offense though. The whole year we haven't seen elite play from anybody on the offense the entire year. I haven't seen a full game. Haven't come close to a full game. Truthfully, that's a big problem. That's something that needs to happen. Mike McCarthy's looking real bad as a play caller right now. 5 weeks into the season.
Yeah, doesn't look good. And what was really disappointing is the Niners lined up single high the entire game.
Yeah.
Man, just took away the run. and even lined up in zero sometimes. I mean, you have to be bold as a defense to do that, especially against the Cowboys offense that doesn't lack weapons. They do not lack weapons.
No, not at all. They're a really good offense.
Yeah, yeah, and you saw just Cowboys not taking shots. It was really weird, honestly, to see Dak not make some checks at the line when he saw, because the Niners did not hide what they were doing. They lined up
No.
in man the entire game, pressed the shit out of CeeDee Lamb. Another thing which was really disappointing is you saw Nick Bosa just get after Terrence Steele, man.
That
I
was
mean, Nick
really
Bosa didn't,
disappointing.
and Nick Bosa could be the best defensive player in the league. But what was interesting is the Cowboys elected to have Micah Parsons rush Trent Williams. For God knows what reason.
I'm right there with you. It made no sense. When you saw what the Niners did to Micah Parsons and you saw what the Cowboys did with Nick Bosa, it didn't. It was like, okay, this team deserves to lose.
Yeah, I mean the Niners took their best player on defense, put him against the weak spot of the Cowboys' offensive line. God, Tyron's looked incredible. Anyway, the Cowboys did the opposite. They put their best player on defense against their best player on offense, which mitigated Micah to a certain extent. Trent Williams is really, really good. Trent Williams is really, and with the different looks they gave Micah, I mean, I think Micah was set up for failure.
No, I agree. I agree. I think there's way too much going into this game too. We're 5 weeks into the season. There's so much season to play.
Right.
I even said that when I took the Cowboys to win. I said I like the Cowboys in this one. Shouldn't have, obviously. But and I said this isn't going to be a detriment to the Niners. They're going to be just fine. But what I'd say about the 49ers, I mean, we already talked about how incredible they look, but I just want to add, far and away, they look like just the most complete team in the NFL right now. I'd give them a real shot in going 15-2. I'm really praying they don't suffer from this injury bug, and we get to see the same team come playoff time, because it's just that they are so good right now. And injuries are going to come, yeah, but I just don't want to see a Purdy injury, a Bosa injury, or I don't want to see like 3 or 4 starters get nicked, because then that really sucks. You know what I mean? And it probably will happen at some point, 2 starters for sure, but I'm just hoping nothing crazy, and that they can remain like this at least. Their core and be play a really competitive football, against the Eagles and whoever else they're gonna have to play.
Yeah, they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, really fun. And dude, I think Dre Greenlaw gets a lot of hate, or not hate. Sorry, I think he's under the shadow of Fred Warner. I think it kind of came out this week, but
Wasn't not this game.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say this game. I think everyone kind of realized it. I've been saying that for a while though. So I've always had this debate with people. I had another debate. One of my friends asked me in our group chat who is the best who's the best linebacker in the league, basically off ball, right? And I said, I was watching the game, so I didn't really have to think about it. I was like, Fred Warner, right? And I thought about it, and I said, okay, Fred Warner or Roquan Smith, right? And Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith is so good. Okay, he's the Ravens middle linebacker. I just want to make that clear. And then another one of my friends, this is the guy who loves to chirp at me. This is the guy who said the Steelers are contenders. He said, it's Fred Warner, easy, no question. And yes, I agree. It probably is. But like Dre Greenlaw literally does what Roquan Smith has to do he does half of what Roquan Smith does for the Ravens. He takes away the run game. He flies around everywhere. Fred Warner does the same, right? But Fred Warner is a much more like I guess like hover in the middle rather. Dre Greenlaw's the guy that shoots up. If that makes sense. Sorry, I'm trying to explain it in terms and I just don't know the verbiage. But I mean, you see Roquan Smith, they run a lot of man basically, and Roquan Smith is flying around everywhere for the Ravens. And so I think just guys like Dre Greenlaw and non-cover linebackers that kind of have to do the dirty work just get a lot of hate. That's basically where I was going with that. Or they get left in the shadow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, from this game you saw, Mr. Greenlaw not far away from Fred Warner. I don't think he's as good, but I think they got a really good situation going with those two guys in the middle because they're very similar. I think Fred Warner's processing and reaction time is a little bit better than Greenlaw's.
Yeah,
But I mean, they are both fast as fuck, flying around.
yeah.
Um,
I do
and I
think
think
Dre
they
Greenlaw
can.
takes away like a lot of dirty work though. That Fred like I think Dre Greenlaw makes Fred Warner a lot better. That's basically where I was trying to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, it frees up Fred Warner to
it,
play
yeah
to his strengths.
exactly,
Again,
yeah.
coaching.
Yes, okay, that's where I meant to go with that. I didn't mean to talk shit on Fred Warner. I think, like I said earlier, I think he's the best off-ball linebacker in the league.
Hey, what about Micah?
Micah's a ball on ball.
He plays off the ball.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He's
Not
gonna
anymore.
move to off the ball. He's gonna move to off the ball this week.
Okay. Well, no, I think it's we haven't seen him enough there, but that doesn't matter.
Well,
Obviously,
let's
Fred
just.
Warner is a better off ball right now. I'm not saying if Micah could be. I'm saying he is. Fred Warner is. But we can't get into that one though. We gotta. I don't even want to cover this Monday night game.
Oh God.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whoever watched it, like, good for you. If you got through the whole thing, good
I,
for you. I
I
couldn't get
didn't
through the whole
watch.
thing. And now I'm just gonna. This might sound a little funny, but I'm not gonna lie. This is what happened. I watched the first quarter and a half. So I was halfway through the second quarter, and I saw Bachelor in Paradise was on, and I went and watched that instead. So that should just tell you how I felt about this game. Bachelor in Paradise is great, though. I don't want to knock on that, but it sucked. Jimmy G and Jordan Love both sucked. Um,
Yeah. I turned this off in the middle of the second quarter too.
yeah, I mean,
Finished up the Harry Potter series.
yeah. Jordan Love took a step back this week. It's gonna happen with a young QB. A young QB. Offense looked really bad because of him. And defensively, though, I actually really like this team, especially their pass rush. I want to bring up who they have, dude, on the pass rush. Let me go pull it up really quick.
Sean Gary.
Dude, well, yeah,
Kenny Clark.
you got Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt is also on that D line.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Preston Smith.
for those who don't, know, yeah, Preston Smith, that's the guy I was forgetting. And then Kingsley Anagbare, the like the second or third round pick last year, right? Um,
Yeah.
So those of you who don't know who Devontae Wyatt is, he's on that Georgia team that was just incredible. He was Jalen Carter's side buddy, and a lot of people said Devontae Wyatt was like a better leader, a better player, basically, which he's not. But on the Georgia team, I'm pretty sure a lot of people said that, or they did.
Not far behind though.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was really cool. I think they have a really good D line. I like their defense. Other than that, I really don't know what to say. Raiders, stand by what I said earlier or last week. I think the Raiders are a bad football team, and most of the offensive weapons are kind of being wasted on this offense. I mean, Josh Jacobs hasn't gotten going. Devontae Adams isn't going. Jacoby Myers looks like the best weapon on this team right now, and I mean, he's a great player. But
Yeah.
he's not Devontae Adams. I'm really pushing for a Devontae Adams trade. They came out at the end of that game basically and said he's not getting traded, he's staying. I'd love to see him on a new team just because they're not a contender. They're not a playoff team. And he's so good and he's in the latter half of his career. Let's go get him on a contender, you know? But anyway,
Yeah.
Raiders
Still
cover
playing great football.
under 44.5. And yeah, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah. We'll talk about the Packers a little bit. And I wonder if because we saw Jordan. I'm a huge fan of Jordan Love. I really like what I'm seeing from him,
I am too.
especially the first couple games. And
Yep.
I'm wondering how much of the absence of Aaron Jones is affecting him. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the game plan, because they did single him up quite a bit um, when he was playing, and so I'm wondering if that has anything to do with Jordan Love. I don't like Jordan Love's weapons in terms of separation. Christian Watson obviously can fly down the field. I do like is it Jalen Reed or Jaden Reed?
Jaden Reed, yeah, the rookie. I think he's out of Mississippi State.
Yeah,
I think.
I think he's pretty good. I don't think he's great. And I don't think the offensive line is great, but I do like Jordan Love. I personally have seen enough from Jordan Love to feel good about him moving forward. And I think it's getting the pieces around him, people like Aaron Jones staying healthy, so they got a full barrage of weapons. But yeah, Raiders, not good. My guy Andre, freaking, I love Andre. I love
Andre
Andre,
James,
and
the
he's
center for the Raiders. We went to high school with him. Brandon played football with him.
yeah, he freaking, gosh, he's doing it. He was doing it.
He actually
But
looks
yeah,
like the best. He looks like their best offensive lineman, actually. So
really,
I forgot they have like another really good guard, but he's looked decent. Like he's
yeah,
looked pretty good.
I think he's a solid starter in the NFL, which is just awesome to say. But yeah, I'd like to see Devontae Adams on a different team too. He is still producing at an incredible level. Saw a tweet this week. It said, "I'd like for Devontae Adams to not be a very expensive decoy," um, and I think that is a good way to sum it up.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's an expensive decoy.
One other thing to know about Jordan Love, David Bakhtiari, his first ballot Hall of Fame left tackle, also is probably out for the season. That happened a couple weeks
He
ago,
is.
so that could have been a big. But that's probably a big thing too. And then all right, so we are almost done with the show. Thursday night football preview. That is tonight. We got the Broncos at Chiefs. I'm sure there's not a lot of people excited about this game, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. So my prediction. Now, I want to give context into this, but I guess I'll give it after. I'm going with the Broncos. Okay, now I understand everything points to the Chiefs. The Broncos' run game has been disgusting. The defense is gross. Last year, one of my reasons why I like the Broncos in this game is last year they competed at a high level with this Chiefs team, and last year the Chiefs were a better team. Last year the Broncos were a worse team, but their defense was so much better than this, dude. Their defense sucks this year. It has been awful. So I could see where a lot of people would be like, "You're wild. This is an easy Chiefs win." This is a division game. Anything can happen in a division game, and the Broncos have tended to play them well. In 2 games last year, they played them very well. I understand. Yeah, like I said, everything points to KC. Okay. Here's another funny thing that is probably why I'm flawed. I need the Broncos to win because in my Survivor League, I'm taking, and let me know if we have anybody out there who disagrees and thinks I shouldn't take them. Or not the Broncos. I'm not taking the Broncos. I'm taking the Ravens to beat the Titans in London. And I haven't taken the Chiefs yet, and I don't want to take them in this game since it's a division game and it's scary. And I need them to upset. I need the Broncos to upset the Chiefs, so like half of my Survivor League is out. So I'm going with the Broncos. Let's ride. Let's ride. And yeah, that's basically what I got. Also, I think it's pretty important to say that Kelsey not being healthy makes me like the Broncos a little more. But I think the Chiefs are going to run the ball a lot in this game, and it's probably going to work for them, like it has for every team. So I'm going Broncos 25-17.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Broncos cover. I'm going under 47 points. What do you got?
I would agree with you. The Broncos played the Chiefs well, and I would not be surprised to see them hang in this game.
Enough to win
but
the
I
game?
cannot. No, absolutely not. Like, yeah, I saw something that said things that weren't around the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs, and it was some outrage. I think one of them was TikTok. Maybe like TikTok wasn't even an app.
Yeah.
The last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs. This is in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's
The Broncos are not
I
good.
forgot to say that.
Yeah. The Broncos are not a good team. The Chiefs are a good team. Yeah, it's a division game. Would not be surprised. I'm actually predicting that the Broncos play 'em well and play 'em close until the end, but not enough to win.
No, I
Not
agree.
enough.
And like anyone who out there is actually considering taking the Broncos to cover, just don't. I
What's the line?
10 and a
10 and a
half
half?
for the Chiefs.
I'd take them to cover.
I wouldn't because come fourth quarter time, I can see the Chiefs expanding to like a 13-point lead.
Yeah, I think this is a 7 to 10 point win for the Chiefs.
And I agree, but I just think that we've always seen that stupid garbage time field goal at the end of the game where the Chiefs kind of have to take this field goal just to be safe, and it could probably go 13-14. Chiefs. Yeah, like I said, I'm going Broncos. Just because I want to take an upset and I want to see them beat the Chiefs. Because I honestly, I really don't think the Chiefs have been as impressive as people have thought this year. And I think the Broncos have been better than people think. But that still shouldn't be enough for anybody to actually bet money on the Broncos. If that,
Yeah,
see what I'm saying there? Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way of
I'm
putting
not
it.
betting any money. I'm just saying it, right? So if it happens, I can be the genius. But if it doesn't happen,
I
I'm
called
just,
it.
dude, it's the Chiefs. You kidding me? Broncos suck. But
Yeah. If it goes well, I called it. If it's not, you're an idiot, dude. I don't know what you were thinking.
what? Wait, what?
If you call it right, you're a genius. If it doesn't work out, call the other person an idiot.
Yeah, just yeah. You guys, you bet money on the Broncos, you dumbass. um,
Honestly, I would take him to cover. I would
yeah.
take him to cover.
I don't think it's a bad idea to take them to cover. I mean, it depends on how much you're gonna make. Like, if you want to throw $10 on that, and you're making, I don't know, like the odds, but you throw $10, you make $100. Take that
Get a little
20 times out of
get a little
20.
parlay going. Get the Broncos to cover and get let's see, Jerry Judy over 50 receiving yards or something like that. If you can get that.
Yeah, we don't know any of the lines, but I actually think that'd be a great parlay. I'd go Pacheco over his line if it's not over 70. Um, if it's under
Yeah, 70.
70, I'm gonna take Pacheco. I'm gonna take Judy over. I'm gonna take Broncos to cover, and I'm gonna say if Patrick Mahomes' line is 260, I'm gonna say under. So I'm gonna document that really quick, and maybe
Yeah.
throwing a bet
Yeah.
myself. Just doing it. I actually might do that. I'll go see. I'll go see how much I gotta deposit into Sleeper. But
Isn't that illegal in Utah?
no, you can do like weird stuff like that. You just
Huh.
can't bet on the
Interesting.
spreads, so I won't be able to bet on the
Oh,
spread. But
well, let me know if you want me to get an account set up for you. Living in Colorado, I am allowed to do that.
yeah, yeah, definitely a great idea. I'm just gonna actually start putting real money on these games. So wish me luck.
I will take 10% though.
Well, 10%. All right, anyway, though, guys, that's it for the show today. Like always, if you did like the video, hit that like and subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds, helps me a ton. Um, if you have anything that you want to mention, also, please let me know. We love, or I love, to just hear what other people are thinking and other people are saying. As long as it means something, not, like you have a valid opinion and great points. But yeah, other than that, we're gonna end it, and we will see you guys. I'll see you in a couple days with my week 6 predictions. So thank you guys again.